How many of you have heard the saying, "A picture's worth 1,000 words"? I grew up hearing about the significance of images. The images are powerful. But what exactly are we teaching about images today? I want each of you to think back to when you were in the classroom. Try and picture any time that you saw an image being used. Where were they? A lot of the times we think of images like this. Motivational posters that teachers put up to show that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But more often than not, the images that we see come in lectures and PowerPoints. They're diagrams that we're supposed to look at in order to help our students figure out what information they need to know and how to present it. In art, things are a little different. Mainly we have photography that's supposed to teach about images, how to take them and present them. But, like other subjects like ceramics, sculpture, and drawing, things can tend to be a little isolated because there's not that much overlap between them. That's because a lot of teachers haven't discovered the potential that photography offers their students, both in the classroom and for themselves. Things have obviously changed with technology becoming such a large factor in society today, just as things will continue to change in the future. However, despite all the new opportunities that this technology has offered the classroom, how art's being taught hasn't changed much. Now we simply have digital artwork, a new field that's supposed to incorporate all of the new technology that's being brought in. But nowadays, kids are walking around with smartphones in their pockets. They're taking selfies and using Snapchat. Why not use this technology in the classroom instead of pushing it away? I want each of you to imagine what it'd be like if every student took one picture a day for art. Now, it wouldn't really be that hard. It's not even really that time-consuming. But maybe it's not even a good picture. That doesn't actually matter. What matters is the fact that they're going out there and practicing. They're looking at things in a different way, and they're connecting that to what they already do in life. More than that, when they come back into the classroom, they suddenly have a plethora of resources at their fingertips. One kindergarten teacher in Oklahoma applied this practice with her students. She sent them all home with a disposable camera and told them to take pictures of anything that they liked in the classroom, in their house. With them, she also sent home a note to the parents, telling them not to worry about the composition or whether or not it actually turned out as a good picture. What was important is that they took them. Because when they took the picture, not only were they acting independently in discovering what they liked and actually making a moment of recognizing it, but when they came back into the classroom and she put all of those pictures in folders for them to access, they could look at that any time that they needed inspiration, or possibly even just reminded of something at home if they're having a bad day. Photography offers a unique opportunity to connect with students in an academic vernacular that they already understand. And due to the growing dependency that technology has in society, a lot of students already have access to phones and other things, regardless of their socioeconomic status, and they want to use it. Now, the best part about bringing photography into the classroom is that it gets away from Google Images. Now, as a lot of you know, students tend to search for things in order to draw inspiration. However, anything that they find on the internet, someone has already made. And a lot of the times they don't necessarily make that connection because they're going, I'm going to make something so cool and so unique, like people are going to be wowed by this. But if they bring in their own pictures of their own life experiences and things that they're passionate about, even if they simply combine pictures that they have with Google Images, they're actually making something new, something that people will look at because they haven't seen it before. And outside of the art classroom, photography also offers unique opportunities. Imagine sending out math and physics students to look in the real world and see principles that they're studying applied. They can look at repetition, the golden rectangle. They can even look at cars driving by and see how the force of movement works. In English, they can look at characters, people they pass by on the streets, and they can take a picture to remember all the details that they were so drawn by. And this is the same for science. Students going out and cataloging different species, and maybe they're building their own small environment of an area that they're around in. All of these are practical applications. And furthermore, if you bring this into the classroom, you see a lot of students trying to take pictures of what they're drawing. Now, this is tended to be frowned upon because it downplays technical skills, but in reality, they're just practicing, they're learning. And taking this skill and teaching them how to look at something, then giving them the opportunity to look at a 2D version of it, can help them bridge the gap on how things actually work, how the table moves back into space, and so that they won't be discouraged by it. Growing up, I was told that I wasn't allowed using photography. In my school, I was never allowed taking a picture in order to help myself, even though at most points I already knew the principles. I just simply wanted to check myself to make sure I was doing it right and that it actually looked good in a different way than just me staring at it up close. We don't need to scare our students away from technology. They're already too immersed in it already anyway. We need to show them how they can use it to help themselves and to bridge connections between their everyday life and an academic life. And so here are a couple different ways that you might think about bringing this into your classroom. If you have a tight budget, you can create experimental printmaking using photography. All you need is an inkjet printer, a gel medium that you can mix up with everyday materials you have in your room, and then you can send through whatever material will fit in your printer, whether it's organic, whether it's thin sheets of metal like foil, and you can actually print on them and have it stay. And you can get rid of expensive programs like Photoshop and other external programs that help build on a platform that you can't afford. You can make collages and utilize this, how you can overlap and overlay images in like glass planes. Outside of that, you can maybe have them look at journaling, where they can actually tie things in together, and instead of trying to get them to only sketch every day, which is such a hard thing for kids to do, you can have them take a picture, maybe put that in there, and it can inspire other drawings. More than that, it can lead them in a direction that they actually want to take their work, instead of them sitting there and going, well, I don't really know. I mean, whatever, I guess. Why not inspire students with stuff that they already have? Photography doesn't have to be scary. It's time that we taught kids how powerful images can be. Thank you.